Having fun isn't hard when you have a library card. Hello everybody and welcome to Brawl Stars. I'm Amy the Amazonian and today I'm playing with Wan Shi Tong, All-Knowing. No, not this Wan Shi Tong, the Wan Shi Tong from Jumpstart. When it enters, it's going to put target non-land permanent into its owner's library, second from the top, which triggers its second ability to make spirit tokens. And you trigger that ability by putting cards from anywhere into libraries. And that is, well, honestly, a very flexible ability. You can trigger it with things that are kind of obvious, like Brainstorm, which takes cards from your hand and puts them into the deck, other similar effects, or other abilities that tuck cards or throw them on top of our opponent's library. We can also trigger it by, well, using a fetch land to get a Mystic Sanctuary and putting a card on top of our deck. Or maybe we want to trigger it by conjuring cards directly into our deck. Or maybe we want to trigger it by using an Omen, which shuffles this dragon back into the deck. That's right, there are so many different ways to trigger Wan Shi Tong, and we're playing as many of them as we can. Even ways to discover in Cascade, because all of these are ways to put a card into a library, whether it's yours or your opponent's. And that's going to get us an army of teeny tiny spirits that aren't so tiny if we buff them up with a patchwork banner, or maybe even some synergy between our spirits. That's right, we have patchwork banner, able to name spirit, we have Supreme Phantom, Wan Shi Tong, and a few other spirits left in this deck, some of which actually let you cast Wan Shi Tong at instant speed. This deck is doing a little bit of hybrid mono blue tempo with some blink, so we can get more triggers from Wan Shi Tong and also keep our opponent in check while we tuck all their cards back where they came from. Because there's nothing like sorting things in the library. You better put those books back where you found them. So let's take Wan Shi Tong in the queue and see what the Dewey Decimal System can do. The Gitrog monster plays additional lands and draws cards when those lands go to graveyard. It doesn't matter if you're discarding, sacrificing, or just milling them into the graveyard. Those all give you card draw off the Gitrog. This gives me a way to bounce. This lets me put cards from my graveyard back into my deck. I'm going to throw this back, though. All right, we got some counter magic. We got rattle chains to set up for some flash with Wan Shi Tong. And they will have some permanents, I think, that we'll need to either counter or shuffle back in with Wan Shi Tong. Or not shuffle in, but throw in. If they don't cast anything for countering, we can rattle chains. Hopefully get a land. Fanatic of Ronus, that's worth hitting. I think I could go for the Memory Lapse. Oh, but the Memory Lapse is so cool for getting this. The trouble is that this can be used from the graveyard, and it's actually kind of better. I just want to hold the Memory Lapse because it triggers Wan Shi Tong. Oh, don't always get a choice. Slow them down a little bit. So just go for the Fanatic again. No, Dark Ritual into who? Gitrog? Against the mono blue? I don't think they'd do that. Nope. Here's the Fanatic again. What was the Dark Ritual for? Nissa. Oh, we'll hit the Nissa. Again, countering this, not that good. Uses from the graveyard. Both of these trigger Wan Shi Tong, which is nice. Okay, a Badgermole Cub. I am going to counter it and draw a card. Still letting you keep the Fanatic of Ronus here. Kind of just looking for that fifth land. And to the north, they ramp. Take one. There's a land. All right, Wan Shi Tong, just gonna boop that. Boop. Nice. I got the spirits. They play an additional land. It's a fetch land, so they'll sacrifice it. Actually, that was their first land for turn. Fetching. And then Aftermath Analyst. If this mills a land, they'll also get to draw. And it milled 2, but you only get to draw 1. Okay, this triggers it. This triggers it. This triggers it. This does not trigger Wan Shi Tong, but it is fun. I'm going to just do the Sorcery Speed Brain Surge. Looking for a land here or something similar. Okay, Narset would be rude against Gitrog. I'm gonna put back the Bribery and Blue Sun. Get my spirits here. I would not be very good at protecting the Narset, but I can protect Wan Shi Tong with Rattle Chain, so that's what I'm going to do instead. Is I'm just gonna kind of let them do their thing here. And then next turn I should be able to cast a few different spells. Yeah, they're in black and green, so they're gonna have removal. And this gives hexproof. We protect Bird versus Frog in Eternal Battle. This frog is frog has been tamed. Alright, they're gonna get so many lands. Nice. One's an automatically sacrificing land too, so it gets them an immediate trigger from Gitrog. I imagine they have like Primeval Titan and a few other very stealable cards. What are you gonna have my Agnikella for? Get them a landfall. The earthbending stuff is neat with Gitrog. And they hit for 6. Do you want to hold this? Or do we want to just build up more damage? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It turns it into a two-turn clock, but so will, like, clickin'. Clickety-clacketin'. Bribery. Wouldn't get the cast trigger, but it's still one hell of a card. One sec. I'll grab the Primeval Titan. And I guess Hall of Storm Giants and a fetch land. Or actually, wait. Yeah, this is only if it enters untapped. Just double checking. I had to check. Fetch land, because that will help me trigger Wan Shi Tong. And I could either go to cut off the card draw, or just mess with their hand. I'm just gonna play the Narset. Minus. Tail's End and Temporal Manipulation. They will draw a card. But now they will not draw for turn because Narset is a nasty gal. They make a plant. Yeah, those fetch lands don't work so well with Narset in play. They're like, oh, yeah. Yeah. No, she's nasty. They get a Surveil. They'll also start putting counters on things with the Earthbender Ascension. Because they fetched, we have lethal here. Oh, you have Death Touch. Death Touch Trample means no block. Alright, now you can draw. Want to use that Bloodstained Mire? Get you more landfalls. But it doesn't stop the current lethal that I have, so I'm not doing anything about it. Big plant. Sylvan Safekeeper. It's going to let them just keep drawing. This turn is going to take so long. They'll have to put them all on the stack at the same time, though. Unless they're just maxing out at 3. Eventually, who knows? Maybe they'll hit a Lumra. Oh, Gitrog monster. You're fun. Oh, the run-em-ups. Fuel tank feaster? That's not too scary. Are you gonna pass and let me hit? Ayo? Uh-huh, yeah, you're still playing more lands? Great. This one gains you a life. You gonna gain a life? Do you want to gain a life? They're taking game actions. What's that last card in your hand? They'll get another one. Okay, I think they realized they're not stopping this. They have no spirit, and all I have is spirit. Merata, Neuron, Hacker. You better start her fast, maybe even steal her, in order to prevent her from cheating out tons of artifacts. And now those artifacts that they're cheating out, they get cast, which means that you can use her to combo with, well, cards like Paradox Engine. It works. I think I will play Bread. Bread, find me something else. I like Azure Scale. It's not doing that much here, but I like it. I'm Merata. You gonna draw any cards? I'm hoping that they, like, brainstorm or something. Isle of Galadriel. All right. In response, I would like to gain control of Merata. This is mine. I already used one of my very few artifacts. Okay, Tormod's Crypt, that's fine. I guess you could prevent the shuffling in of the bread? Oh my gosh, look! I get to use Mirror Merata to cast my Patchwork banner to get a Wan Shi Tong faster. Genius, Amy, genius. We're going to be naming Spirit to buff up the tokens we make. Throw back their ramp. I don't care about Tormod's Crypt. And get a pair of spirits. Now, these spirits, with the buff from Patchwork Banner, get so much stronger. Making these into 2/2s is so good, because for the most part, they are unblockable. There are some common spirits, even cards you might not think of as spirits, like Hey Bye, but they're really nice on their own. I'm sure they have bounce spells in their deck. Ooh, Runecarved Obelisk. They're trying to ramp really hard. No, that's fine. Do you want to cast more artifacts? Oh, Merata, just so good with me actually drawing my artifacts here. I'm actually going to lead, though, with playing the Otawara. And I know this has flash, but I want to seek. If I use the Omen, by the way, I get 2 more spirits. Do you have like a free counter spell? Opponent? Hello? Kozilek's command for X equals 0 just to draw a card? Okay. Gonna get 2 non-lands in hand. Neato bonito. Mind Stone. And I have that Force of Negation I can use on their turn. Get him! Good damage, good damage. We can go for a couple triggers next turn, too. Here comes the file again. All my cards got them fancy borders. I mean, they're legendaries. Not this one. This one's just a big old flashy dragon. Yep. Nope. Gonna try to counter the One Ring. I will drop... Do I think they have good creatures to steal? Yes. I don't know. Something about their deck and like the rampiness of it makes me think they're actually not all in on Paradox Engine. And maybe, just maybe, there's something worth stealing in there. Maybe it's just Urza. I mean, I'll steal an Urza, though. It's worth stealing. GG. Egrix the Bile Bulwark, or Gwenim. When she attacks in, they're going to be casting spells for free off the top of their deck. Or I shouldn't say for free, but for the cost of life instead of mana. Ooh, that's a nice way for me to slow her down a little bit. They're probably going to have a lot of black control and some black storm cards in their deck. But because Egrix needs to attack, they're also going to be running haste enablers, whether it's like the Crashing Drawbridge or pairs of boots. And if I can just tap her first, or I guess blink her, stop her from swinging, that will work to slow them down. So I will keep this. And yeah, it would be good if I had a counterspell for her, but I tried to cut a lot of counterspells from this deck to make it more interesting and also stop people from conceding as early. Real talk. People will concede sometimes if you just keep hitting their commander. Because I have the blink, I am going to throw down this Drowner so I can get some tempo rolling. Bloop. Necropotence? Ooh. Nah, we're gonna throw that back into your hand for a second. I got another bounce for it too here. I'm just out here like, oh yeah, that sure does let you manipulate the top of your library and also like draw half your deck. Oh, Sheoldred. I can counter Sheoldred. Or I could run her out of town. I think I want to run her out of town. She goes back on top of the deck. Didn't draw a land. I could use Agnikella to do that now, try to draw a land, but I think it's better to wait. There's that Necropotence again. Necropotence. Yeah, I'm just gonna throw it back. This is a delayed trigger, though, so it will still give them the cards. That's what I was checking. Mm-hmm. Could wait until I activate. It wouldn't matter too much, since it's just a delayed trigger anyway. Well, they'll have to discard down to hand size anyway. Yeah, I guess I could wait and see if they get, like, greedy on activations and do it. Alright, Wan Shi Tong, able to hit that Terminus. throw it into their deck. And then get it with the Drowner. Hi, Shelly. You coming down? She would hurt. At least a little. Oof, nope, it's a board wipe. A Toxic Deluge, but it puts them at 9 life. I'll move my commander to the command zone. There's a little bit of lifelink for them. Ooh, and boots with the spurs. And they got rid of the thing I was going to use to stop the Egrix from attacking right away. I'm going to go for the kind of sad, just extra turn to hope to get a land. Get the land. Love that for me. And Wan Shi Tong's going to put them boots away. Rootin', tootin', bootin'. Get a couple spirits. It's like, yeah, you can counter this. Or we could mess it up. We love messing things up. You wouldn't draw cards, would you? Card draw? So they lose 2, but then they gain 4. And they're gonna gain another 2 from this. It is indeed boots with the spurs. With the spurs. No, I'm not blocking because I'm planning on blinking. Ow, shoulder, why are you like this? You're so rude. Everybody in. She's not a spirit. Kind of operating under the assumption that they go for Egrix this turn. Even though their life is kind of low, if they have enough card draw spells with Sheoldred, it wouldn't matter. Also, she gains 4. Mr. Bones and his Wild Ride? No, no bones. I don't even know what's in graveyards. We're taking him to the bone zone. The terminus of Returnimus! Great. Raven Eagle? I do have a way to recur that from the graveyard. Not so fast! Whee! Ah! And I can draw a card off Fountain Port, but I'm more likely to just throw down Brazen Borrower for more damage. Alright, let's see. They go to 11. 1, 2, 3, 4... Yeah, that's fine. We take the hit. I'm gonna lose a little more from Shelly. And we just go in for the kill. That evasive damage sure adds up. GG. Kefka, Court, Mage. Wow, I have a lot of non-basics here. That's wild. And a kind of slow hand. But I am a little worried about, like, counter magic from them. So having this Cavern of Souls is nice. Jace is always a strong card. And I do have turn 3 ramp. But I think with just nothing on turn 1, 2, and 3 is just ramp, I gotta go throw this back. So I am going to. And we ended up with the counter spells. Strict Serenade, Counter Spell, Run Out of Town. And this is a cuttable card in this deck, but it does technically trigger Wan Shi Tong. And I think it's funny. It's Chaos Wand. When Kefka enters or attacks, he makes both players discard. Or I should say all players discard, because it's a lot more if there's multiplayer. Depending on the number of card types discarded, they draw that many cards. So don't let him resolve. Don't let him attack. Don't let him do both in the same turn. Somebody's asking, does conjuring cards into the deck trigger the commander? Yup. It's one of the things that we actually weren't sure if it was going to work. Putting cards directly into the library. But with a little bit of trial and error, yes, it does. Or putting cards into your opponent's deck. I don't really feel like throwing both of these down. So I am actually going to play this Chaos Wand because this is going to blow your mind. It's funny. Please resolve. Aww. Well, at least that's counterspell burned. I was thinking like, oh yeah, I could just use their stuff. No! Kefka! Gonna have to run him out of town. I will drop, I think, Strict Serenade or Cavalier here. I just kind of have too many 5s. But Cavalier is like card advantage and it triggers Wan Shi Tong. I'm not waiting until their turn to do this because they do have access to counterspells. So run out of town. No force of negations, please. They ponder. They're thinking about it. Dang, same, me too. Okay, Mystic Sanctuary lets me throw Run Out of Town back on top of my deck. But I don't really care that much about that since their thing hasn't entered the battlefield. So I'm actually going to decline that. I get Run Out of Town on Wan Shi Tong. And past the turn, I have the Fountain Port I can activate. I have the 2 counter spells and Flood Pit's Drowner if it's not Kefka. All right, time for fish. Ooh, or a treasure. Or a fish. I should go for that treasure. I got an extra mana, why not? Sweet. That's the Convoke one. There's no targets for Wan Shi Tong, so we just pass through the turn. They consult the star charts. That's really good card advantage. Which is why I'm gonna counter it. They're looking for lands, I feel. They found one. Do you want to play Kefka? Alright, I will sacrifice that treasure token and draw a card. Oh, well that would stop Kefka's ability for the most part. So yeah, I'll do that. Here's Narset. A dispute. Oh, I will pay the 3 on this if I can. I'll let him resolve. Making me discard is fine. It's the card draw I'm more worried about. And, okay. That can hit spells on the stack. That's kind of fun. This is a land, and I honestly feel I could be using more lands. I did play one this turn. Jace is just horrendously obnoxious. But more stack interaction's probably good. Both of these are a stack interaction. Nah, I'm gonna take the one that's a land. Alright, Mr. Bones Wild Ride. There's a Cavalier of Gales that they can take, or Baragoyf. This hasn't entered the battlefield. It's gonna be better for killing Narset. But I'm gonna warn you now, this is bad for you. With Narset in play, this is still a Brainstorm effect. Which means you draw 3, you draw none, and then you have to put both cards from your hand back into the deck. I think you should have gone for the Baragoyf, just gain the life. I don't think they thought about like, oh yeah, Brainstorm. So they lost those cards. Kefka's back in the command zone, costs 2 more. Yeah, that's a oopsie. Yeah, one of those just, when you're playing your opponent's cards, be mindful of the nasty interactions. Shuffling that back into the deck, not the best for me. Still gonna do it though. I want to get my stuff. Yeah, they're like, oh no. Ah, chips. Oh, dang it. Yeah, that Kefka is not landing. Rofellos, Llanowar Emissary going first. Now, I am able to bounce their commander, but that only slows them down by 1 turn. I guess I'll need to mulligan here. And yeah, it's like I have a mini counterspell spirit. That's part of like Wan Shi Tong's fun stuff. I have some ramp. But even with like turn 4, being able to bounce some of their bigger spells, I think that's just genuinely too slow. Because, well, Rofellos can get them 10 mana on like turn 3. Well, a commit could be cute, but no, none of this does it. I can risk another mulligan. And all I got is a little bit of funny stuff. All right, I'm gonna drop, Supreme Phantom. Yep, bring that in. And I'll exile the Run Out of Town. I had to dig deep. Starting hand is 4, but I have like a land in play, so it's totally worth it. It might get me to something to hit Rofellos. Yeah, I'm not running all of the like 1 mana counter thing that's like power 2 or was it spell snare mana value 2. They got boots to give him haste. Okay, so they can tap him right away. All right, I will take this and keep it, and I'm going to hope that what they're doing is waiting to cast Rofellos because they got those boots. Oh, they are, but they're going to get a Delighted Halfling, so it doesn't matter. He's going to be uncounterable. So he's asking, is Stubborn Denial in Brawl? Stubborn Denial is in Brawl. But with a commander like Wan Shi Tong, where there's very few other power 4 or more creatures, it gets a lot worse. Next turn, though, I will be able to bounce Rofellos with Jace. Oh no, I won't have enough mana. Oh well. I'd love to save this bread, too, for triggering Wan Shi Tong. But if I'm not using my mana, like, I'll just use it here. Oh my god, an uncounterable Rofellos. Eh. Yeah, sometimes Rofellos does generate infinite mana if you have certain staffs in play. I might not have been able to counter him. Maybe I can counter whatever else they cast here. Whether it's a Harrow or just a big boy. All right, they want a clone, and I'm going to say no clones allowed. No clones about it. My deck doesn't have as many counterspells as it could, but it still absolutely has counterspells. With them having these boots, bouncing a creature does almost nothing. So I could either Brainstorm or Fate Seal. I want to just make it so whatever's on top of their deck is kind of useless. All right, yeah, so I'm going to put that on the bottom. That was a gruff triplet, so the sort of thing that, unless I had a mass bounce effect, would kill me pretty quickly. Timeless Witness. Looks like they really want to do that cloning, but they already played their land for turn because it got Rofellos more mana. Okay, they can kill Jace this turn if they move the boots over onto the Witness. But they didn't see it, or they have something for 2 that they want to cast. I'm going to make a bunch of spirits. I'll hit, I'll hit the Hobbit. Puts it into their deck, and then I'm going to Brainstorm. Put 2 cards back. I'll drop the 2 lands back into the deck. Gets me 2 more spirits. And now I have a Subtlety. The trouble is that a lot of the things that Rofellos decks cast are Eldrazi, which have on-cast triggers, so putting them back on top of the deck does very little. Nintuko goes wide. Monkey. Yep, that's worth this Seagate restoration to put on top of the deck. I get more spirits. By the way, none of these are spirits. I have one blocker. It's Wan Shi Tong. Person hates moving their boots off him. Oh. I think they realize that I'm just gonna start bouncing Rofellos. Sure am. Sure am. Tifa Lockhart going to double her power with every landfall. I've got multiple ways to bounce her in this hand, which is a nice way to slow her down. But I might want to wait until I have a counterspell going for a mulligan. I'm going to risk it on this, though oftentimes Tifa has protective spells, things to give her hexproof so she can both buff herself, protect herself, and swing it all in the same turn. Especially the cards that are like +2/+2 and hexproof, like a Blossoming Defense. Sylvan Safekeeper. Well, there's Shroud. I am able to bounce the Safekeeper, and I don't think they would sacrifice a land for it. But if they play Tifa here, I'm actually going to look to bounce the Safekeeper first with the Tifa in play. Every turn I can slow them down gives me a better chance. All right. Nice. And I got a Subtlety. Helps trigger Wan Shi Tong, which I can use to counter one of these. Here's that Sylvan Safekeeper. I'm hitting the Safekeeper over the Tifa because if I want to use my commander, I need to be able to target their stuff. So put that on top of the deck. You can shuffle it in with your Verdant Catacombs, or you could crack it right now. No, they put it to the bottom, I think. Do you go for Tifa this turn? No, a Springleaf Drum. Cool. Oh, hey, Mystic Sanctuary. You're usually what we're fetching. I guess going for Flooded Strand this turn to, shuffle. Like, I didn't brainstorm or anything. Wouldn't be terrible. Just to thin my deck. I'll flash out Brazen Borrower. Right now, there's no instants or sorceries in my graveyard. Ta-da! It's this. Grab an island. Yeah, we're running all the fetches because we have all the brainstorm effects in our deck. Alright, Wan Shi Tong, try your best to put Tifa in the deck. Now, if they choose to not put it in the deck, what's really unfortunate is that Wan Shi Tong will actually not make the spirit tokens because it redirects it right to the command zone. It doesn't like put it there and then put it there. But with two fetches in play, I need to try to slow down Tifa. So they have 1 mana without having to use the fetches. Actually, they kind of have a triple because like they can demo field the hall. No, they let me do that. I wonder if their protective spells just weren't in hand. They said oops. Why do we oops? I don't know if they oops or I oopsed. A Tireless Tracker. Some good landfall shenanigans. And some good landfall shenanigans. I wanted my spirit tokens. They do have enough mana to give him +1/+1 and sacrifice a clue. Look at all them clues. Hot dog. Now they only have 1 mana up. Which means I can attack him with the Aether Channeler. Oh, hey, Mausoleum Wanderer. It can counter certain instants and sorceries. Yay! And I'll swing in with my big old birds and my Aether Channeler, too. Nice. This is part of our, the spiritness of our deck. Tapping for 1. Bringing out Tifa. Yep. That's Tifa. Ooh, Blue Sun Zenith. Does actually trigger Wan Shi Tong, so let's use it. Do you want to go for X = 4 and burn the Sanctuary? Yeah, I'll do that. 1, 2, 3, 4. I know it's instant speed, but I'm doing it now. Give me the goods. Because with them already using up their fetches, I'm kind of just believing in the they can't kill me next turn. But they're a Tifa deck, so watch them do it anyway. It's lethal in the air, so they have to do something about it. There's a couple protective spells that also give reach. Oh, they're going. Veil of Summer. Well, I did cast a blue spell, but that doesn't save you from just flying damage. It turns out that just juggling their commander eventually got me there. GG. Katara, Waterbending Master. She's very tough to play against because she's going to be casting a lot of spells on my turn. And a lot of those spells will be counter spells, bounce spells, spells to protect Katara and help build her experience counters up. The more experience she has, the more cards she draws, giving her access to more counter spells. I'll play this Sapphire Medallion, and they'll be able to steal from me if they have some extra mana open. Agent of Rafine coming on in. And I am going to try to get this back into their hand, costing 2 more mana, just to delay her ability to attack and her ability to get experience counters. Yeah, it's more similar to the other Wan Shi Tong, because there is another Wan Shi Tong card that is great for that kind of mono blue tempo deck. She's a bit like Malcolm in that case, too. Oh, a Harbinger of the Seas. Well, great news is, I don't got too many binges to harb. Because I'm also a deck that's running islands. Land. I'm just doing these at sorcery speed. Ooh. I can name Spirit on that. Oh, wait. No, I can't, because the binge. The binger! I'm literally just talking about, like, yeah, I have islands wrong. No, I don't. Ooh, do I want to prioritize solving the case? Yeah, I'm prioritizing solving the case because if they tap out to play Katara, I'll put her in the deck. She binged my Havern. So now I can just cast spells off the top of my deck. I solved the case of the Lost Witness. In one go! Niv-Mizzet Supreme! I have extra mana in this hand, which makes me want to keep this, so I will. Throw this down. And I'll exile, I think, the Horned Lockwhale, since I don't think they're going to be attacking that often. Also, Hexproof from monocolored means I won't be hitting the Niv-Mizzet with any Horned Lockwhales anytime soon. Yeah, it's still a 6/6 with Flash, but, like, I got Rizzlers. This is the most supreme of Niv-Mizzets, which is to say it's actually not the best Niv-Mizzet. It's not the worst Niv-Mizzet. It's in the middle as far as the Mizzets go to me. I'm just going to do this now. I could hold for Wan Shi Tong. I think I'd rather do that next turn. They will be giving these 2 color spells that they have in their graveyard. You know, there's a little bit of flashback. Or sorry, jumpstart. The difference between flashback and jumpstart is for jumpstart, you have to discard a card. Does this one combo hard? No, it's more like a general multicolor spells value. You still gotta cast the spells like for their full cost. You just get to cast them again. There are some like cool spells that discard themselves though. Ooh, Druid class so they can play additional lands soon. Nice. You're so supreme. Okay, they can play an additional land. Edge Maze! Alright, I'm gonna bring out Wan Shi Tong. X equals 1. This just gives me some tempo in the air. I'm gonna make it bigger with the patchwork banner. Ooh, I can actually do both of these. And then I'll have enough mana for Wan Shi Tong next turn, which is great. Spirit. Patchwork banner, not just a way for me to ramp into Wan Shi Tong, but also a way for me to make these spirits end the game twice as fast. They're looking at it like, what's this doing here? I have to ramp. Thankfully, I had like turn 1 or turn 0 ramp because I went second. They also have ramp though. Here's Niv. Can't touch him with like any of my spells. I can touch this. Let's see. Wan Shi Tong. Throw this back. No, Ironcrag. Ironcrag, no, nobody's ever said yes to you. So this is just Wan Shi Tong hanging out with himself. And I believe this Wan Shi Tong would trigger if I use the Field of Ruin. I'm just double checking. Yeah, it's any search. Doesn't matter who caused the search. Ha! They have a counter spell, but I don't think they can cast it. They don't have double blue right now. They could do some practical research, though. Be a lot of drawing and dropping. Swamp. Deafening Clarion. No! My spirit! Aww. They hurt my spirit. I have Thassa for Blinken, but again, hexproof from monocolored. Gonna be real rude here. I kind of like going for the Riddler or Narset here. I'm gonna go for the Narset first. See what I get. Nothing. Well, I ain't gonna bluff having things. I'm going to trigger my commander, though, while I have it. Put 2 cards into my library. I will put the Click. And I don't need to pretend I have something here. Click in a land. Make some spirits. No, I can either attack in or I can protect Narset. And I think I'd rather stay back here and protect Narset. Yeah, they're eyeing that Patchwork banner. I'm wondering if they have a way to bounce it or destroy it. Oof, Casualties of War. Hopefully they have some other permanents for me to hit, but I don't know. I feel like they're going to have very few things for me to, like, totally lost. Here's the Rizzler. To the face. They're able to Casualties of War again. And I'm just out here like, gee, I sure hope they play things that I can deal with or like interact with. because the whole theme of the deck is that. I have other ways to trigger it, like you saw the pseudo brainstorm, but it's not as cool. I think I might have to click myself here, looking for lands. Get them back. Yes, please. I'll drop Displacer Kitten. It's very dies to this. Kind of expecting the Clarion here, though. Clarion, and then they can even swing in. Get it discarded. Anguished Unmaking. For this to match into a monocolor deck, they're probably so happy. And I'm just like, I can't touch it. Can't touch it. And there's nothing else for me to hit. A nifty rifty. Sure, I should have bolted that in for the mana leak. Then again, that could have killed me. Hi, Teferi. Yeah, you would have been worth the counter. Worth the life. Worth the pain. Oof. But hey, they played a permanent! Unfortunately, I believe they will have blue, blue, and red, so they can invert polarity, or absorb. They left themselves with absorb mana. Triple on top. Hee. Can I use my commander, please? I already know you have a counter spell. Mm-hmm. Poor bird. No, just attack me. Hey Bye, Forest Guardian. Hey Bye is a berry, a blink, also a spirit, that is going to get shrines into play, which is tough for me because him being a spirit means that he can block my tokens. Darn. He also can make the same tokens that I make by paying 5 mana and tapping. In this, I have a feeling that there's going to be a little bit of ramp, a little bit of blink, and of course, shrines. Especially the good shrines, the ones that like end games by drawing cards, making your opponent discard. Oh, a Talisman of Progress. All right, so they will be able to play Hey Bye next turn, which means I'm going to want to hold up this counter spell. This is also sort of a counter spell. Sort of. It's a spirit spell. It fits the theme. Okay, Elspeth's Nightmare. It has 3 different things it does, so I am going to counter that. And I'm gonna really hope that I find some, like, ramp or some other just, like, nice advantages here. Yeah, it's because it was gonna hit my hand. Ooh, that'll work. I'm gonna start with the Quantum Riddler. Who knows, maybe I'll get lucky and get a blink off it. I did not. Hydroponics Expert with a fetch land in hand, though, is beautiful for me. Since this will make one of my islands, or I guess I should say it will make a thing into an island, which makes it fetchable, and then it will draw me a card. We have all the fetch lands because our deck is running all the brainstorms. Hey Bye found the Sanctum of Calm Waters. That will draw them only 1 card next turn. Yeah, I bet you have like an Ephemerate or something, and they're like, I can't pay the 1. No, you can't. Oh, there's an Essence Flux. I guess I'll go for the card draw. Yeah, the Flux is especially nice with Wan Shi Tong being a spirit. Alright, there should be a modified island here. There we go. Modified land. What do I feel like holding for this turn? Jace throwing the Heibai back into hand isn't very helpful. I could throw down the kitten for blinking this, but I kind of like just, you know, click. Still kind of expecting them to have the ephemerate. It could also be Essence Flux. Enlightened Tutor. Oh, that could have also been that. I'm gonna check out their hand. Now that they've done their card drawing and they're swinging in. Nice. Thanks. What do you got? Okay, no blinks. They got a remove abilities, discard shrine, go wide shrine, and ramp. I will hit the Honden of whatever that one was. This is what was holding priority before. Enlightened Tutor. They ramp. Kind of surprised to see them ramping instead of playing the Goshen Tai. Maybe the card they just drew was a land. Yep, there it is. Goshen Tai of shared purpose. It resolves. And we pass back over to me. Sure does resolve, but also totally lost. We're going to throw this back into their deck, or this back into their deck. I'm gonna go with the Sanctum of Calm Waters. I think card advantage is what's stronger for them. And they can choose to either keep it near the top or throw it to the bottom. Do you also make spirit tokens? You do make spirit tokens. Curses, a way for them to interact with these. At least I can use my spirits to block Heibai. Yeah, the Unable to Scream's not that useful against me because I have Essence Flux. And Displacer Kitten. We can do it all. I can make them pay 1. It's not worth it. 4 mana removal. And now they can make some spirits. Yeah, I think it's worth preventing 4 damage. I'll give up one of my tokens. Oh, another blink. I'm gonna play Jace. And Brainstorm. Oh, look at me getting lands. Gonna put Black Cleaner Incision in one of the lands. Next turn, probably playing Quantum Riddler. I could have also played it this turn, but I wanted to set up for playing my commander again. I know what I'm about. It's playing my commander. They're throwing all 3 of them at Jace. I will block Heibai. And having this Tail's End does mean I should be able to prevent them from like getting another trigger off Heibai by stifling the trigger. They make more spirits. Cool. Wan Shi Tong. I'm gonna throw the Goshen Tai of Shared Purpose back into their deck. Wait a minute. Did I have lethal off throwing Unable to Scream back into their deck? Yep, probably. I forgot how much that the Mausoleum Wanderer was going to get 3 triggers. But we're going to get another 2, so I can actually still win just by brainstorming. That triggers Wan Shi Tong, and we win. Nice, GG. Katara Waterbending Master. We've seen these before, and they're going first, which is real tough for me. They will be able to just repeatedly counter my spells or protect Katara so they can bank up experience. Kept this hand because it offers me some interaction, and I feel like they may not play Katara right away, knowing that I could have a 1-mana counter spell for her. A seek new knowledge! They're going to filter out the cards in their hand. I would say that counter spells are pretty good against this deck, just because I'm running a 5-mana enter the battlefield commander, which even though I have counter spells myself to help kind of protect this game plan, it sometimes isn't enough. I'll go for Mana Leak here. I feel like they will probably counter my Mana Leak. Spell Pierce. Oh, a Flusterstorm. That's an unusual one. You know they're digging deep on counter spells if they got a Flusterstorm. I am going to bother minusing her once. Just to filter around my hand a bit. So this gives them something to attack. Ooh, and here I was thinking they wouldn't be able to take her down for 3 turns. Yeah, you should just discard a card. She has no experience. An inexperienced bender.
So much commotion.
All instants, all the time. We will do this on their turn, because that way they don't get experience. Boop. I'm sure you have some way to protect her. Jawari Disruption, sure. And now they can draw cards. Didn't quite get what I wanted here, but I guess I'm going to try to vanish her on their turn. Vanish her? I hardly know her. An offer I can't refuse. Oh. Well, thank you for the treasures. She still has no experience. And I still have things I can cast at instant speed. Oh, Jace. Jace is a card draw engine, so I'm going to counter him. And they're tapped out, which is great for me. All right, I have a Brainstorm. Siphoner lets me grab one of these. Doesn't let me block, though. I'm going to lead with Brainstorm, because I don't really love the cards I have here. Where were you before? I will put back this and this. And even though this is something I could do on another turn... In fact, I could have set up so the bribery wasn't in my hands. It would only cost 2. I should have done that. I just realized I could do it. But I'm just doing it while they're tapped out. They're not attacking in. Cool. It's my turn. I could have put the land there. Yeah, I'd love to play Wan Shi Tong. A Cyclonic Rift. Okay. Katara, please get out of here. Oh, they're having a stroke. Well, they get to draw one and discard one. Let's see if they do. Yep, they're looting. And they drop a land. Which means, to me, I'm fairly safe to just try to play stuff here. I will start with Mind Stone. Then, Wan Shi Tong. Lovely. Alright, great. Katara, get out of here. So now Katara costs more. She's still stuck at 1 experience, which is great for me. Jace could bounce Wan Shi Tong. Jace could, what is it called? Fate Seal me. By the way, I didn't get the spirits because it was their commander, so it didn't actually go anywhere. Yeah, back into my hand. Hello, I am once again requesting that we put things back into your deck. Putting it back into the deck will get me the spirits. And I'm going to hold up some instant speed interaction that doesn't actually interact. It would just put like a non-land in my hand. Get ahead with some blue of my own. Another Gitrog monster. I have a way to buff some spirits. A couple ways to trigger Wan Shi Tong. Some ramp. This isn't bad. It doesn't really have any interaction for what they're doing, though. So I think I will still mulligan. Yeah, I'm gonna mulligan here. Cool. Gives me access to a counterspell, a way to give Wan Shi Tong flash. This is just here because I like it. The Thieving Haven is just a kind of busted card. I can either go for a ramp. I'd rather just hold here. Especially because they will have fetch lands, which is great for this Wan Shi Tong. Into the north. Oh, they're searching their library. X equals 0. They should crack the Terramorphic Expanse in response. Yep, they're doing it. All right, my bird grows and got me another a counter there. That's great. I will tap Woobly. This way I'm holding up Rattle Chains or Memory Lapse. Well, it's also like I have evasive cards. It's a bird. You know, normal stuff. Memory Lapse. Put it back. I know you got 10,000 fetches, which is why other Wan Shi Tong is real nice. Okay, didn't get card draw here. They kept their frog on top. Oh, you know, I should have Field of Ruined. That would have been so funny. I, like, just recognized, oh yeah! I could have made them shuffle it. And every day they're shuffling. I'm pointing, I'm just playing the Rattle Chains here. It's a fetch! Draw me a card. Yes, please, thank you. Land's good. Land gets me to Cryptic or Wan Shi Tong. Yeah, sure. Hexproof. Great. I'm gonna go for my commander. Wan Shi Tong. All-knowing. I know I can cast it at instant speed. But I'd rather do it now. This is a very spirited game right now. And then I have the blink. Okay, they can sacrifice lands for Shroud. That's just some good enter the battlefield business. But it triggers Wan Shi Tong! Yes! I like how this Wan Shi Tong is like, man, other me gets a lot of value. Yes, it does. This card is kind of ridiculous. As far as like mono blue tempo cards go, it's great. The fact that it has flash too, ignore that I'm usually not flashing it, is so strong. Cavern of Souls just to be a land. We'll do some bouncing. Maybe some faceting. Yeah, a lot of good stuff here. GG. Hey, bye, Forest Guardian. I don't have any counter spells in this hand, but I do have Bird and Bird Blink. I'm gonna mulligan. That's not what I want. A Tail's End would be able to stop Hey Bye, and we can also prevent some card draw, do some bouncing. I like all this. And also shuffle permanents back into their deck, which is good for Wan Shi Tong. That's the thing we want to do. That's the thing we want to do. Oh, nice Esper Sentinel. Shocking. Fanatic of Ronus. All right. You gonna swing in? I might be doing some shuffling on that. I have a turn to make up my mind. I'll start by swinging in with the Flood Pits Drowner. See if they want to block. They don't. And I kind of like Aether Channeler, but I like Narset more on this turn. Yep, you do get to draw. But I want to filter. Ooh, Force of Negation. Because they can also have blue cards. This is to stop their blue cards. That are searching. And Soul Herding. Oh, that'll stop me from shuffling that back in. Soul Herder's a great repeat blinker. It is also notably an uncommon. Easy to craft. Easy to get. Fun for someone, probably. I have Strict Serenade as an option, which means I can also use this Aether Channeler on this turn. I'm gonna bounce their Soul Herder. They've also been hurting themselves before. Oh, it was already out of the shuffle window. Yeah, it needs a stun counter. Alright, so there's the Hey Bye. I'm going to hit it with Strict Serenade. You will get to draw a card. Except you won't. Right, because you've already drawn a card this turn. Thank you, Narset. I have Narset, by the way, in this deck because putting the cards back into the deck doesn't do that much if they're just able to draw the cards again. So, prevents it a little. Do you want to attack my Narset? I can pay the 1. Can and will. Bounce the Void. No more Voids. None of this, none of that, none of those. Ooh, Sanctum Weaver, look at you ramp. They blink the Fanatic. Keep it as a blocker. And I'm hoping I get a land here. Good. You have plenty of mana. I don't feel like holding up the counterspell here, but I am going to put your Soul Herder back into the deck. So if you use Wan Shi Tong, or sorry, if you use Hey Bye, Wan Shi Tong will kind of just, you know, put this back to the bottom. They have plenty of mana though, because like you use this to help cast Hey Bye, or you play a land, and then Fanatic of Ronus taps for 4. As long as Narset's around, I can ignore. Enter Esper Sentinel triggers only on their turn, though. Alright, they got Kyoshi Island Plaza, that's ramp. What it is more permanence for me to tuck into the deck. Nah. I wonder if they have another one. Go for a momentary blink directly into Ephemerate. They did not. Good for me. He's a spirit, as I mentioned before. So I'm actually going to attack with everything here. Extra turn. Yeah, I'll pay the 1. Now let's see. Commit the hey bye. Sure. And swing again with everything. They have to block with the Esper Sentinel on the Flood Pit's Drowner. And yes, they'll get value. But stopping them from drawing those cards did a lot. GG. Momo, friendly flyer. I actually also built a Momo deck. Momo is going to be doing some mono white tempo, some flying aggro, where you discount your flyers and you buff up Momo. I am just hoping here to get some, you know, birds to block. Vendilion Click, some of this, some of that. Whoa. They are so into protecting Momo, they're booting him up. This will also give them the ability to give haste to the other flyers they play. Didn't expect a Lightning Greaves from them, though. Let's see. We got Sync. Probably just want to play regular lands. Starfield is less what I want in this matchup. Draw that again. Put that away. Is it going to be Momo Voltron? You know, it could be. Just not really taking advantage of this. We'll find out. Pearl Medallion. Okay, in response to Pearl Medallion, I would like to see what you have in your hand, because I think it's Aven Interrupter. It was, in fact, Aven Interrupter. Sometimes, you just know it. I like Signet into Oracle here, or into Click again. Oh, by the way, plotted spells can only be cast at sorcery speed. So I am not able to cast this on their turn. Oracle the Alpha, fun fact, does trigger Wan Shi Tong. Anything that conjures into your library does. We had to test this ourselves. It makes me so happy. I probably already said this in the video, but I like it. Okay, look at this. Then I got birds. I got birds for days. Wan Shi Tong. I'll hit, I don't know, your boots. Top or bottom. And it gives me some spirits, which can be blocked by Selfless Spirit. Because this is also a spirit. This is not. This is a Momo. Momo is my pet. Momo, do a backflip. Thank you, Momo. Boots returned. Kind of surprised they put them near the top. Swords to Plowshares and Wan Shi Tong. Okay, I gain 4 life. They'll get to deal more than 4 damage. But I will get to play Wan Shi Tong again next turn. And keep stacking the top of their deck. Ah, look at that! A Black Lotus! I'll play that. I'll hit Selfless Spirit. Now, they can actually sacrifice it in response to prevent me from getting the tokens. But it's the only one of these that doesn't have an enter the battlefield. And, like, this would just go there anyway. I guess Pearl Medallion I could technically hit. Let's see. Yeah, I just want to get the trigger, so I'm going to Vendilion Click because I have to do this at sorcery speed. Oh, it doesn't do it if they don't have a card in hand? I wanted to just, do nothing on it. That's fine. I could have hit myself on that. My bad, guys. All right, Momo back in the Shroudiverse, but I have good attackers and good blockers. I feel like that's probably going to be good for me. Here, I'll swing in with all this. Play a bird. Play that as a land. Pass the turn. I can use Fountain Port also to sacrifice the spirits to draw. You think their planes are cute? They are cute. These are classic planes. All right, Solitude, I'll trade with the click. They go back up to 24 life. Where's that? There we go. Sacrifice a token to draw. Boop. Some Foxy Moxen. I was gonna do this for like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sorcery speed, I don't care. You sure did not use my Mox Emerald. And swinging with these little guys. It shuffles itself back in. That's why it triggers Wan Shi Tong. I bet there's something I want to put on top of my deck. Yeah. I like brainstorming. And bam, that triggers Wan Shi Tong. I have this Callum here, which I can trigger Wan Shi Tong and also tap a thing. Wait, before... hello, good game. Please, just let me show the conjuring into the library causing the trigger. No! Aw, dang it. I did not get priority before the concession goes off. GG, Momo. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Brawl Stars. Wan Shi Tong did pretty well, and part of that's because I feel like we had some mismatched games where just the presence of a deck with a lot of tuck and counter spells means our opponents can't really do that much. There are certain decks that are much weaker to counterspell heavy decks like this, and it kind of shows. I actually had a few losses, but not that many when I was recording this, and I found that what I mostly lost to were other counterspell decks that just happened to have the right way to stop Wan Shi Tong or these other abilities before I could start getting value. If Wan Shi Tong isn't in play, I'm not getting the spirits, and a lot of these cards are 1-for-1s, which means they're gonna kind of fall behind if our opponent has themselves some good card advantage or enter the battlefield abilities. I do think that this deck is pretty good, and it's making use of an unusual card. I've seen plenty of this Wan Shi Tong since the set came out, because this card is generically good. It's fantastic, in fact, in Brawl, where there's so many fetch lands and tutors and everything else where everybody is searching. Whereas this one, you're building around an ability that's triggered by a bunch of different things. I actually think that Wan Shi Tong is cool in Commander, but kind of cooler in Brawl, because we have things that don't exist in Commander that trigger it. Yes, there are some cards that are available in Commander that aren't in Brawl, but the conjuring into your library, causing Wan Shi Tong to trigger, to me, is so cool. We had to test this ourselves, by the way. If you are making a copy of a card into the library, it counts as a card being put into your deck for the purposes of Wan Shi Tong, which gets you more spirits. And I love that. I love finding the secret synergy. And this deck is full of the secret sauce. It's also full of a lot of just like, you know, blue good stuff, but that's how it goes. Especially when the blue good stuff happens to already trigger the commander. When I originally built this deck, I actually had a lot more of the tuck abilities, but I found that it's just a lot easier to play Wan Shi Tong and blink it and blink other cards, so we have a bit more flicker stuff and blinkables that also give us like creatures in play so we don't just die to being attacked. So yeah, if you want to find my deck list, you can find it in the description of the video, and hopefully you like it a lot. This video will be going live during my vacation, so if you're like, Amy, why aren't you uploading tons of videos ahead of time? It's because I'm not recording any videos because I'm taking a couple days break. I was actually supposed to get a root canal today, and I didn't because my doctor got the flu, so I'll be getting it at some point, and then probably taking a little bit of time to rest up my face because it's gonna hurt, I'm sure. Not looking forward to it. Still gonna get it done. Thank you all so much for watching, and have a brawlful day.